Right after a car accident, your mind's racing. But what you do in those first few minutes can make or break your injury claim. Most people mean well, but they say the wrong thing, forget a key step, or trust the insurance company too soon, and it ends up costing them. I'm Mama Justice, a personal injury attorney here in Mississippi, and I've spent over 20 years helping folks protect their rights after a crash. In this video, I'll show you exactly what to do after an accident, before the evidence disappears, and before the adjuster gets involved. Because when you handle those first few steps the right way, you're in a much better spot to get other medical bills covered and hold the other driver accountable. All right, so you've just been in a car accident in Mississippi. Your heart is pounding, adrenaline's running high, and maybe you're not even sure what just happened. The very first thing you should do, before you even think about insurance, police, or lawyers, is make sure you and everyone else involved are safe. Pull your car over to the side of the road if you can, but don't leave the scene. Check yourself for injuries. Sometimes injuries from a crash don't show up immediately, so even if you feel okay, move slowly and pay close attention to any pain or dizziness. Next, check on your passengers and then the folks in the other car if it's safe to do so. Quick story. I had a client, Linda. She was rear-ended on I-55 just outside of Jackson. She was shaken, but she really didn't feel hurt. Only later did she realize that she'd hit her head. Because she checked herself and her kids right away, she made sure everyone got the medical attention they needed. And that made a huge difference down the line for her health and for her case. If anyone is hurt even slightly, call 911 immediately. Mississippi law expects you to report injury crashes and never attempt to move someone who is seriously injured unless they're in immediate danger, like a fire. Wait for trained medical help. Even if the accident seems minor, flick on your hazard lights, let the other drivers know to slow down, and help prevent a bad situation from getting even worse. If you've got warning triangles or flares, now's the time to use them. Once everyone is as safe as possible, you need to call the police. In Mississippi, the law says you must report any accident involving injury, death, or property damage that looks like it's $500 or more. Now, I'll tell you, most accidents cost way more than $500, even if it's just a fender bender. Don't gamble on this. Call the police. When the officers arrive, stay calm and polite. Give them your name, your license, your insurance information, and registration. Don't admit any fault or try to explain why you think it happened. Let the facts speak for themselves. Just describe what happened honestly and directly without guessing or making statements unless you're sure about them. This police report is a big deal. In Mississippi, insurance companies usually want to see this report before they'll even start processing your claim. Sometimes people try to handle things off the books to avoid higher insurance costs. I get it, but I've seen way too many cases where that backfires. If the other driver changes their story later on, or if injuries show up days later, you'll wish you had that official police record. Here's a quick example. A few years ago, a client named Chris got into a sideswipe in Hattiesburg. The other driver seemed friendly and said, "Let's just handle the case ourselves." Chris trusted him. Well, a week later, Chris's insurance company called and said the other driver had claimed that he had run the red light. No police report meant it was a nightmare to prove what happened. Don't let that be you. After you've made sure everyone's safe and called the police, it's time to start collecting your own evidence. This is your opportunity, and it doesn't have to be complicated. Almost everyone today has a phone with a camera. Use it. Take pictures of everything: the cars, the road, any skid marks, broken glass, traffic signs, even the weather conditions. Snap close-ups of the damage and wide shots that show the whole scene. If there are any injuries, bruises, cuts, airbags that are deployed, document those too. Don't worry about taking too many photos. It's much better to have more than not enough. Write down or record a quick voice memo of what happened while it's still fresh on your mind. What direction were you driving? What was the speed limit? What did you see or hear right before the crash? Sometimes these details fade quickly, especially if you're shaken up. Get the names and contact information of witnesses as well. If there are people standing around who saw the accident, ask them for their phone numbers. Even a quick, "Hey, can I text you in case I have questions about what you saw?" can help a lot later on. In Mississippi, I've had plenty of cases where the only thing that made a difference was a photo snapped at the scene or a witness who was willing to confirm the truth. A photo can show the angle of a collision, the position of the cars, or the fact that a stop sign was hidden or overgrown by branches. Small details can have a very big impact. You and the other driver need to swap names, phone numbers, insurance details, and driver's license numbers. Mississippi law says you're required to provide this information after an accident. Don't just trust that you can find it later. Ask to see the other driver's insurance card and registration and take a clear photo. Do the same with their license plate. Jot down the make, model, and color of the other person's car. If there's more than one driver or passenger, get their info too. Stay calm and polite, even if you're frustrated or angry. Remember, what you say right now can affect you later on. Don't apologize or say you were at fault. Just exchange the necessary details. Sometimes your instinct is to say sorry, even if it wasn't your fault, just to be friendly. But in a car accident, those words might be twisted and cost you later on. Stick to the facts. One more tip here. If the other driver refuses to share info or tries to leave, do your best to get their license plate and a description of the car. Let the police handle it from there. Even if you think you're not hurt, get checked out by a doctor as soon as possible after the accident. This is a big one. In Mississippi and really everywhere, injuries from a car crash can show up hours or even days later. We see this all the time with things like whiplash, muscle strains, or even concussions. If you wait too long to get medical help, the insurance company might try to claim you weren't really hurt or that your injuries came from something else. I've had clients who felt fine right after the crash, but by the next morning they were stiff and sore and bruised, and they had to prove to their insurance company that those injuries came from the accident. Make sure to tell the doctor exactly what happened and every single symptom you're feeling, even if it seems small. That creates a clear medical record. Follow any instructions that they give you for treatment or follow-up appointments, and keep all the receipts and medical bills and doctor's notes. In Mississippi, you're allowed to claim the cost of your medical care, lost wages, and pain and suffering if you weren't at fault. But you need the paperwork to back all that up. Once you've taken care of yourself and gathered your evidence, get in touch with your insurance company. Most policies require you to report any accidents quickly, usually within a day or two. You don't have to give a full detailed statement right away, but don't wait too long either. When you call, stick to the facts. Don't guess about what you don't know, and don't admit fault, even if you think you might have made a mistake. Just explain when and where the accident happened, who was involved, and what damage has been seen so far. Your insurance company is required by Mississippi law to investigate your claim. They'll walk you through the steps from there. They may also send someone to inspect your vehicle or ask for a statement. If the other driver's insurance company calls you, keep your answers brief and don't feel pressured to agree to anything, especially a settlement. You have the right to talk to a lawyer first. It helps to call an experienced Mississippi personal injury attorney early on in the process. A good lawyer can answer your questions, help you avoid common mistakes, and make sure your rights are protected. Insurance companies have teams of professionals whose job is to pay out as little as possible, and they know how to use your words, your paperwork, and your photos against you if they can. An attorney can help you gather evidence, deal with the insurance companies, and even negotiate medical bills if needed. Most personal injury attorneys in Mississippi work on a no-win, no-fee basis, so you don't pay anything unless you get a settlement or win your case. I've worked with clients who waited too long to hire a lawyer, and by then key evidence was gone or the insurance company had already offered a lowball settlement. Remember, you only get one shot at this. Don't go it alone if you're feeling overwhelmed or unsure about your next move. So, we just covered exactly what you should do immediately following a car accident in Mississippi, from making sure everyone's safe, to getting evidence, to knowing when to call for help. Each of these steps isn't just about following the law, it's about protecting yourself, your health, and your future. If you want to know how to make the most of your claim and avoid leaving money on the table, you'll want to watch my next video, 5 Secrets to Double Your Car Injury Settlement. There are some key strategies that can make a huge difference in what you take home, and you don't want to miss them. See you over there.